Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and a very interesting day of the CDL we have just had indeed. It looked like it was going to be a really quick day, but towards the end we had probably one of the series of the season so far in Dallas Empire versus Seattle Surge, marred very significantly by the stream quality we're going to have to get into in the coming minutes in. Not the greatest day for the CDL by any means. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's get into things then. So on the day, OpTic and Dallas make their debut here on Season 2, and well, it starts off very well indeed for OpTic Chicago, up against a very strong, clearly, Paris Legion squad. Early on Checkmate, it looks like OpTic are going to run away with this one. Certainly this is a very good map for them, but Paris come back pretty significantly in this. Aqua has a greater, well, couple of rotations, certainly, but well, OpTic Chicago closed out on certainly a favoured map for them, and honestly, all things considered, when you look at this map pool now, Crossroads is gone, Garrison is now their permanent veto, it seems, in the hardpoints. They're very comfortable on a lot of these hardpoint maps. It's going to be tough to take down OpTic in hardpoints, that is certainly true. And well, Paris are very solid. I think they honestly really showed a lot this series, but well, it wasn't quite enough. Envoy went massive game 1, 30-17 right here on the Checkmate hardpoint to move up 1-0 in the series. Thought this was kind of funny as well that happened mid-series for Maniac. The CDL specifically requested the Maniac stock pop in his head of the backdrop in between CDL maps. This is how they treat their former Call of Duty Pro players on the Florida Mutineers last season, of course. Maniac was, so nice to see him, well, much better and well as he is right now. And well, this happened in the control then. So the search and destroy goes down to the wire. Paris managed to close it out. On Express, it was very much a back and forth one, I thought. I mean, Scump nearly had that crazy round where it was like a 1v4 kind of. It was a 1v3 ace almost, but he just lost the 1v1 to Aqua. Definitely ice from Aqua in that round. Then they go into the controller, and this is really where on raid control, like, OpTic are so difficult to touch right now. Dashy was dominant this map. He went like almost double positive again. I think he had 5,000 damage again in just 3 rounds, and Formal went massive at the end of round 1. It looked like Paris were going to close out this round 1. Doesn't happen though. I mean, OpTic somehow get the job done. Formal goes crazy over by the Tiki area, and well, that wins them the first round. Then they close out the rest of the rounds as well. I mean, this comes out from OpTic Chicago as well. The whole Envoy situation we've seen the last couple of days, well, entertaining to see it be used right here. And as you can see, Dashy 27-17. This is certainly his map. He's had so many great maps already on raid control so far in the QBZ meta. Definitely looks like he is continuing that trend. And well, Formal and Dashy on this map are definitely a force to be reckoned with. Not too much you're going to do here if you are the Paris Legion. Then though, we go to Apocalypse Hardpoint. This has been a map where I've been watching Envoy's streams as of late on scrims when they're playing this map, and he is just an absolute dominator on this map. It's very difficult to touch Envoy. Seems like it really favours his playstyle, and well, in the control, of course, OpTic do manage to close it out, moving up 2-1 in the series. And then, well, the very final moments, pretty interesting, pretty dramatic final moments here of this Apocalypse hardpoint. It looks like Paris are actually going to make some sort of comeback right here. It seemed like they actually got the rotations nicely over to the next one, but a big set of kills from OpTic. They closed it out 250-225. But the really interesting thing happened after the series concludes, that being that immediately, as you can see right here, well, I almost can see right there, the cameras start to get shut off. I'm not surprised the CDL cut it, because these last few days, we've seen with the whole Formal story, but also the idea that, like, and Hex has been discussing it as well, the fact that these cameras, that there's no privacy, right? The idea that they're recording all the time and they want to, well, effectively, Hex said he wants to institute a kill switch so they can cut the cameras off so they can have conversations before and after the games that the CDL can't record and make into content, as they are certainly prone to do. And he was discussing this idea of a kill switch just a couple of days ago, and as soon as the match finishes, Envoy says this, GG's Paris, loving these new maps. I'm sure OpTic certainly are right now, looking very good in this series, but as you can see, almost immediately afterwards, all of their cameras completely disappear, and we get left with this situation where they're all standing there, and it looks like somehow maybe they've done the kill switch or something, so they can't use the post-match comms and such in the content. That is not exactly what happened, right? It really seemed like that was probably going to be the case, but as Hex goes on to explain, I mean, Intel, Call of Duty tweeted out right here, Crone over there, you can see that the cams kind of freeze off, and then all of a sudden, even while the Paris Legion guys, they all cut off basically at exactly the same time. So that's kind of why I thought something was going on. They all disappear, as you can see right here. But Hex comes out and explained it and saying that I think there was like a Guggen squad construction team or something going on in the background, and they were testing the fire alarms, and the fire alarm went off in the Hex quarters with, like, 20 seconds or so to go in the map. I can imagine that would have been really distracting, right? I mean, I don't know how loud it was particularly, but clearly they had to get up and leave the building as a result of this. And well, it could have been kind of crazy if they didn't end up winning that map and something came down to it, the distractions were there, and maybe they couldn't hear or something quite as well because the fire alarm was going off, as I say. Not quite sure how loud it was, but yeah, pretty dramatic end to this one. OpTic do find the clutch factor though. They win the series in a 3-1 fashion, and well, pretty much as expected. Certainly this hardpoint map set that we have right now seems to favour OpTic pretty significantly, but also Paris, I thought I'd definitely give them a shout out, right, because they were far from crushed in this series. They were very competitive, won the search and destroy once again, but OpTic and the respawns, man, they were, well, name a better duo in the Call of Duty G League right now. Then we go into the next series, which is Mutineers versus the Minnesota Rokkr, and this a lot of storylines, to be honest, in a number of these series. Rokkr once again completely blown off the map, and this really was where Skies actually came to play in a series. So far this season, Skies has definitely had a very lackluster showing. I mean, especially considering how good an AR he technically is, of course. I mean, very talented indeed, and in previous seasons he's been absolutely dominant, especially last year here in Modern Warfare on this Mutineers lineup once again. But this time around really has been pretty underwhelming so far this season. Definitely turned up right here. Game number 1, 32-20, dominates the Rokkr here on map number 1, checkmate hardpoint. Then we go into the search and destroy, goes down to around 11. I think the Rokkr were up like 5-4 in this one, felt like they had an advantage. They, they can't find the ice right. That's one thing you'd imagine with this team, is that, okay, like at least if they're not the most dominant gun skill team in the world, they're going to win searches, they're going to have the ice in the crucial rounds. Doesn't happen though. Mutineers managed to win this one, go up 2-0, and yeah, just an absolute disaster for the Minnesota Rokkr right now. We talked about earlier today the idea that, look, if Rokkr lose this series, there's even more questions are going to be asked. Losing another 3-0 in this fashion is well, not something I would have expected, to be honest, and well, not ideal at all. Priestahh comes down to the 1v1, but Skies just about clutched it up. I think he has like 12 kills in the end. Neptune has 12 kills also, and then we go into the game number 3. And this, of course, is a map where Mutineers seem to be pretty damn good on their offenses on checkmate control. It is great, to be honest, to be seeing a number of offenses being won on checkmate control as of late, because it was a pretty boring map early on. But oh well, once again, Mutineers get the job done, and Rokkr get 3-0s. I mean, man, how long is it going to be? As I said earlier today, they don't have a substitute signed, they don't have an easy solution. I'm sure they're, well, keeping their eyes very much peeled on the amateur scene right now to see who they can pick up, because, well, it's not an easy solution to this squad, and, well, their group is far from easy by any means. Then we go into the final series of the day, and once again, I thought this was going to be a pretty convincing one right again. We come up against Seattle, here is Dallas Empire. Shotzzy goes absolutely mental over at this first rotation here on the Moscow hardpoint, as you can well see, and Huke goes crazy at the end of the map as well, but Seattle kept it close at times. Certainly Loony had a pretty poor map, one right here, and Huke closes out on a crazy streak. So definitely the individual players came to play on the Dallas Empire, and this really though is where some of the stream issues started to come into play. It was very much a topic of discussion today that well, the stream was not in the best place by any means. I'm not really sure what's caused this. We haven't really seen this issue before. We've had a number of issues with the stream where, for example, they go to a listen-in and it's significantly delayed from what we see and actually what the players are talking about, which isn't ideal. Also, there's been some audio issues as well, and it is interesting in the whole of this discussion we've had the last few days, the idea that, okay, the CDL might be moving in the direction of, well, not necessarily no more LAN events, but definitely an online future to Call of Duty. And you see some of the issues we had on the stream today, and you've got to think, okay, like, is that actually the future? And yeah, it does beg the question as well. They laid off a load of, Activision laid off a load of people from, I think, like 50 people from its esports division. I'm not sure how many of them were working on the behind the scenes production stuff. I imagine not many, but yeah, still, maybe we need a little bit more manpower on fixing these issues going forward. So as you can see, game 1, it's not terrible, but somehow just every single map it gets even worse. We go into the game 2. I mean, this was a crazy map too. Like, so many of these maps were so good. ILLey clutches this crazy 1 versus 3 right here to, well, move up 2-0 in the series for the Dallas Empire, at least to help them on their way on the checkmate search and destroy. Very intense. I mean, ILLey, crazy ice from him, gets the job done in the 1 versus 3, and well, fantastic map. They go up 2-0, and the stream issues were getting even worse and worse, and I was thinking, okay, please end our suffering. Let's just get the job done here, a 3-0 fashion, and well, we can all go to bed. However, it doesn't happen. Seattle Surge actually regained spectacularly, and so much credit to them. This series was an absolute blockbuster. I just wish we'd have been able to watch it, right? Like, it was so good. Game 5, round 11, we'll talk about in a second, but ILLey right here, also, as we talked about with Skies, relatively underwhelming season so far. Here he goes with a 1.71. Actually, that was Octane over here, but ILLey had a 1.33, also 12 kills. Both of these guys turning up big when it mattered, but of course, ILLey with that 1 versus 3 was the defining factor in the end. They go up 2-0 in the series, and then the control was actually pretty crazy. As Arcitys says, though, this is where the issues started to come into play. Can't even watch the CDL stream, getting a headache right now. I'm sure if a lot of you guys had a similar thing, I could always feel a headache coming on as well. And as Code Gamepedia says, CDL really giving us a slideshow presentation today. They must have fired the production team when they made the layoffs, says Crone. Then we go into the control, though, and I can't really show you any clips from this, just because there's no clips to even show you, because they're all so laggy, right? We go into the control, Dallas go up 2-0, it looks like they're going to close now. Seattle clutch a crazy offense, then they win the defense, they get defense round 5, and they actually win the map. Gunless goes crazy. Gunless also went crazy in the map 4, as you can see right here, this is what the stream looked like at the time. I mean, it's not my video lagging, hopefully. It's the CDL stream looking like this. I don't know what was happening. It somehow got worse every single map. It literally became unwatchable. I was watching the control, and it started off like, okay, maybe I can watch it a little bit. Towards the end, I just had to avert my eyes. I couldn't handle it. I just had to listen to it, and even then, it wasn't spectacular. And then, well, as you can see right here, so Dallas Empire lose this map. Crazy from the Seattle Surge. They clutch up big time. I think Gunless started off this map something like 1 in 9 or something crazy, and then ended up 24 in 18. So he completely turned around his map. Then we go into the game 4 and a similar story. JCap says as well, though, man, this stream is tough to watch right now. Holy hell, just an absolute disaster on the eyes. Then they win the game 4 as well. I mean, this was such a crazy game given that Dallas went up so great early on. Then, well, Seattle just completely dominate the rest of the map, take it all the way to a game 5 on Express. Doesn't get too much better than that. Game 5, Express, it goes to a round 11, 1 versus 1 as well. But, well, we can't really enjoy any of it because the game 5 was in this quality. As Panda says, dude, does the CDL even care that the stream is this terrible at the present time? Clay says the following as well, CDL internet straight dial-up process from, well, you guys remember way back in the day where this used to be a thing. And, well, as Jake Lucky tweets out, we don't need land, we have online COD. This is a clip right here. I mean, I think Crimsix clutched a crazy round early on as well. There were so many great moments in this that it'd be great to make a video out of, and I'm sure whoever the CDL guy is going to have to put this VOD up on the YouTube channel is, well, not necessarily going to enjoy doing so, because so many great moments, but marred by whatever the hell this is I'm looking at right now. Yeah, far from pretty. I think you could argue that, okay, they take a technical break right before the game 5, they make this work, and, you know, I don't know, they decide not to do it. Maybe they don't think it can be fixed in the time, and I'm sure the production guys are thinking, okay, what do we have to do to fix this for tomorrow? Because this clearly cannot last right now. Absolute disaster, to be honest. And, well, then it goes all the way to a game 5 round 11, and somehow Dallas Empire clutch up. I think they were slightly too slow on the retake, were Seattle Surge, and it comes down to a 1 versus 2. I'm not exactly sure who the Dallas guy was, but he takes down one man off the bomb. Octane gets the trade, but isn't there quite in time to clutch up the round. I think he got to the bomb with like 6.5 seconds left. You need 7.5 seconds. And game 5, round 11, Express, phenomenal map to watch. You know, 1 versus 1, and we have to sit through that, right? And Seattle lose out. I mean, they will look crazy improved, to be honest. Dallas Empire not looking the best, of course, given that they are the reigning world champions. Definitely some work to be improved on for those guys. But again, crazy series marred significantly by all of these stream issues that we had. Tweet here your thoughts on all this drama of today in the comment section below. Will they even be able to fix it for tomorrow? That is certainly a question that comes to mind. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.